A Chilean senator has just revealed that he was abducted by aliens. So let's talk about that and a whole lot else. So get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. I think this is huge, guys. An actual senator, sitting congressman of Chile, is coming out talking about being abducted. So let's go over his experience. I was abducted, seriously, he says. I was on my way from Natales to Punta Arenas. A light that was spinning big came up to me, a saucer. It shuts down. My vehicle shuts down. And some of the translations are a little wonky. This is auto-translated. I was on the phone with someone. Everything went out. And then I show up about 200 kilometers ahead. What? Okay, so what happened after this event? After that event, I saw owls and owls everywhere. Very intriguing and also not uncommon. Experiencers frequently report owl sightings. Very, very interesting. And also, owls are not just sighted by experiencers of alien abductions and contacts, but also spiritual events. Spiritual experiencers will sometimes see owls as well. They have both alien significance and spiritual significance, another crossover between the paranormal or spiritual or metaphysical and the alien. But moving on. After that, you saw owls everywhere. I had to find out from a person, but it had a meaning that one could see by the twist of the neck and the eyes. And a person came and gave me an owl. I saw a friend with an owl t-shirt. But according to the Magellanic legislator, the paranormal event did not stop there, but continued some time later. A bald old guy came to my office and brought me some papers, and he told me you have to spread the message. And he brought me some papers that were secret from NASA. He brought them there, and he told me that he was a person from another planet, and that I, seeing that I had been seduced, would bring me those documents. Documents that I still have. I don't know about the word seduced, if that's a mistranslation or not. But yeah, this is super fascinating. A sitting congressperson in Chile openly talking about contact with the beings, and not just alien contact, but also potentially more spiritual or paranormal events as well. But certainly alien and certainly weird. I love it. I think this is huge. We are living in the age of UFO disclosure, guys. It's beautiful to see. It is beautiful to see. Meanwhile, the Vatican is preparing guidelines for apparitions, other supernatural phenomena. What? This is from Fox News. The Vatican is preparing to release a document giving guidance on how to discern supernatural phenomena. The Holy See Press Office announced the upcoming document will be published May 17th with a live stream press conference featuring prefect for the Dicastery for the Doctrine of the Faith. I said that right. Cardinal Victor Manuel Fernandez. Fernandez has previously said that Dicastery is in the process of finalizing a new text with clear guidelines and norms for the discernment of apparitions and other phenomena. That is wild, guys. That is wild. So, yeah, what does this mean? The Catholic Church preparing guidelines for our own discernment for interacting with the greater phenomenon, as I call it. I think of UFOs as a subset of what I call the greater phenomenon, which includes, metaphysical stuff, spiritual stuff, consciousness stuff. It also includes Bigfoot and portals, you name it. They're all connected, guys. They're all connected. So I call it the greater phenomenon. And it looks like the Catholic Church is getting ready to, for their own UFO disclosure, if you will, because it's all connected, right? So they are, possibly paving the way, allowing for people to have their own CE5 events, if you will, but in a more spiritual way. I don't know. We'll have to see what May 17th brings, but that is hugely fascinating that something like that might be about to occur. Meanwhile, Diana Pasolka is also talking about the Vatican tradition or the Catholic tradition of discernment. She doesn't go into a lot of detail about specific practices they have, but she is at least mentioning it. So let's give a listen.
This one comes from Tupac Cabra, who has a Twitter account that's, link in the description. Does the Catholic Church have their own term / practice / training for remote viewing? And if so, does it predate the U.S. government's and how put-offs programmed?
That's a good question. They actually do. And it's not called remote viewing, but it's called discernment. And so we've talked about people in the Invisible College, a lot of them being Catholics. I don't know if all of them are, but most of them are. And so one of those people is Jacques Vallée. And when I first met him and throughout my collegial friendship with him, he's said to use your discernment, and this is something that must be developed.
So yeah, use your own discernment. You have to develop a spiritual practice to, achieve this discernment, is what she's saying. And she goes on. She doesn't go on to talk about the Vatican developing specific protocols for developing this discernment, or schools or mystery schools that they might have to develop this discernment. But apparently it's a thing, guys. Apparently it's a thing. And maybe they do have mystery schools to develop this discernment. Who knows? Who knows? She doesn't go on to talk about any more remote viewing applications or, again, schools or teaching that the Vatican has or that the Catholic Church has. But at least this word, discernment, in conjunction with the Catholic Church, apparently is making the rounds, guys. And apparently for a reason, because come May 17th, they are releasing guidelines for how to develop your own discernment. Is that like CE5 protocols, but spiritual protocols? I'm fascinated, guys. I can't wait to dive into that article on May 17th. That's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be crazy. All right. Speaking of which, there's kind of a theme developing today. Kind of a theme going on. This is from Vox. UFOs, God, and the Edge of Understanding. The spiritual possibilities of alien encounters. If you're into UFOs and aliens, the last 5 years or so have been fantastic. There's been a big shift in the public discourse around UFOs and alien life, thanks in large part to a 2019 story published in the New York Times about reports of UFOs, also known as U.A.P., off the East Coast a decade ago. Also the West Coast, right? The Nimitz. Since then, the whole topic of UFOs feels considerably less fringe than it once did. We still don't have anything like evidence of actual aliens. Well, we got bodies, y'all. We got bodies. What you talking about? But it is at least a live question in a way it wasn't before. I'm still inclined, says this opinion writer, to believe that there are far more plausible explanations for UAPs that don't involve ETs. The possibility, however, that aliens might exist raises all sorts of fascinating questions. How would the discovery of ET life change our world and our understanding of our place in it? And what if aliens are real but so unlike anything we can imagine that we can't even begin to understand the implications? Diana Pasulka is a religious studies professor. Her first book, American Cosmic, was focused on the religious dimensions of UFO mythology. The new one, Encounters Experiencers with Non-Human Intelligences, and it dives into the experiences of people who claim to have encountered alien life. And she talks a little bit about the commonalities between UFO experiences and spiritual experiences. She says, UFO events are transformative realities for the people who experience them. They're not necessarily good. Religious events are sometimes bad and sometimes good. I heard people talk about their experiences with UFOs and sometimes with what they call beings associated with UFOs, and it sounded very similar to what I had been reading about in the Catholic historical record. So yeah, there you go. And I'll let you read the rest of the interview at your leisure. But talking about UFOs in spirituality. From my own personal experience, I can confirm that they are connected. I had a spiritual event that happened for me at an ayahuasca session, an ayahuasca ceremony, and I asked for a sign that it had actually happened. And a month later, I got a sign, a very specific sign, in the form of a UFO. If you want to see that whole experience or listen to the whole experience, go to the playlist under the video called My Jesus Ayahuasca UFO. And I wasn't on ayahuasca when I saw the UFO. But yeah, there is absolutely a connection. Ayahuasca is very much in my mind right now because I'm gearing up to go on another retreat. I'm going to another ayahuasca retreat this coming weekend. So wish me well, wish me bon voyage on my journeys and the ceremonies. This will be my fifth retreat. I'm very much looking forward to it. You know, I'm on the dieta right now. And about to experience some severe caffeine withdrawal, but because ayahuasca contains DMT, which is likely a very important part of the whole equation, although not the end of the story, let's listen to Terrence McKenna talk a little bit about DMT.
There is no going back because it is such an extraordinary revelation, not of any theogony of white lights or any Jungian or Freudian map of the unconscious, but rather the revelation of something utterly unexpected, overwhelmingly strange, definitely translinguistic, and repeatable on demand. You know, we're not talking about standing in cornfields here and praying for flying saucers. DMT is a reliable method for crossing into a dimension that human beings have debated the existence of for 50,000 years. Is there an invisible nearby world inhabited by active intelligences with which human beings can communicate? You bet your booties there is.
That's right. You can go into another dimension with DMT and talk to entities, apparently. I have not done a straight DMT enough to have a breakthrough experience. I've done it 3 times. You know, not in ayahuasca, but in just by itself, DMT, and I could not get enough to have a breakthrough to go to these other dimensions. I think I saw the doorway, and the doorway was beautiful, guys. It was beautiful. With all this mosaic of colors. I can't even describe how beautiful it was. It was possibly the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It was this mosaic like on a wall, but these moving colors. And I knew that if I had been able to go to the colors and through it, I probably would have been taken to the fractal realm, and through the fractal realm to possibly these other dimensions. And I could have hung out with some entities. I was hoping, guys. I was hoping, but it didn't happen. But I'm going to try again. Who knows? I mean, maybe it'll happen this weekend. Who knows? Okay, getting back to some UFOs. John Bell has some more orbs to share with us. He's got such great videos. Go check out his channel, Real Florida UFO. He gets so many UFOs. So many of them are orbs. And you might think they're bugs or birds catching the light. But they're not. One of them hit his multi-ton truck so hard it rattled his truck. So yeah, not bugs or birds. I mean, maybe a few of them are, but those aren't the ones we're interested in, right? And he gets so many of them. And he's also shown several that are intelligently interacting with him, and also several that have a structure. Look at this. It's got a dot in the middle. And this is the second or third that I've shown of his videos that where there's a structure. And there's a couple of videos that he has, at least, where they make a noise, where a couple of them will make a humming or buzzing kind of noise. They're technological, I guess. So yeah, I don't know what that means, what these things are. Are these actual UFOs? Are these beings flying around in some sort of other dimensional vehicle? That's kind of where I lean on a lot of orb activity, because I've heard of, aliens popping out of orbs and Bigfoot popping out of orbs, as if the orb itself were a vehicle for a being. But I've also come across near-death experiencer accounts where people on the other side will become orbs. So I just don't know. But either way, thank you, John, for sharing this, and everybody, consider going to check out John's site, Real Florida UFO, and I'll link to that below. Meanwhile, Avi Loeb is saying he's ready to go to Skinwalker Ranch. Well, F. Brandon's paying for it.
Yeah, so what would be the scientific experiment you would like to run if you were invited to go to Skinwalker Ranch?
Well, they do have some instruments there, but I would bring the entire Galileo observatory setup over there and monitor the sky. We also have a magnetometer that we can use to detect any magnetic signals. So basically use all the instruments that we develop. It's just like a new location for our observatory. And as I said before, the cost of a new observatory in terms of the hardware is about $200,000, but then we need to have people assemble it and maintain it. So altogether, it's about $500,000. And if Fugal wanted us to be there, we can and is willing to support such an observatory at $500,000, we would build it for him.
Okay, what do you think, guys? Should Avi Loeb set up an observatory at Skinwalker Ranch? And by the way, I don't mind him charging for the observatory. It costs money to make these things. I'm just having some fun, but I love the idea of mainstream science getting on board with Skinwalker Ranch. I think that's really cool. I don't know if we're really going to make any progress on understanding the ranch in that fashion through an observatory. I think that, the experiments that are being conducted there right now, more fluid experiments, seeing what works, seeing what the phenomenon is up to and ways to stimulate it and get data from it seems to be working. I would love to see more of that. I would love to see a more shamanistic approach as well, since they've done several spiritual or consciousness-based experiments on the ranch, and they seem to produce results. So I would love to see more of that. I think that the phenomenon is interacting with our consciousness, and, consciousness-based approach would probably be helpful. But failing that, they need to dig, guys. They need to dig. So yeah, I saw the teaser for the new episode. It looks like they're going to dig. It looks like they're going to dig. So I can't wait for them to dig. But if they dig, guys, they need to dig seriously. We're talking about millions of dollars. They need to just rip up the whole damn ridge and the whole ranch and just get to what's under there. I mean, it's going to totally destroy the property. It's not going to be pretty after that. But you need, I mean, there could be an alien base under there, guys. At least go down to the tunnels that their scans have shown is there, right? At least go down that far to those tunnels. Let's see what's there. Let's see what's there. But yeah, I want them to see what the hell is under Skinwalker Ranch. Of course, the phenomenon on the ranch doesn't seem to like people digging on it. But oh well. Of course, I say that from the very safe perspective of the person that will not be driving the construction equipment. So maybe they need to get some robots to drive these things. Get some auto construction equipment. I don't know how you do this without incurring the wrath of the ranch. But I definitely want to see some action on Skinwalker Ranch. I definitely want to see those tunnels and anything else that can be unearthed on Earth. Meanwhile, have you ever seen the San Diego Sphere? It's a really interesting UFO video. It's quite long. This is a 13-minute long video of this weird object in the sky. It's just this round, it's a sphere. It's a silvery sphere with little spokes coming off of it. Looks very, tinkerish, something that could be man-made. It's interesting that you get this line around the middle, which is something that has actually been seen at Skinwalker Ranch a couple times. They've had these spherical things that have this divide in the middle. Very intriguing. Is this a fancy balloon, a fancy, shiny silver balloon, or is this a genuine anomalous object? I haven't seen this debunked, but it totally could have a mundane cause. It could be, man-made, like I say. It looks very clunky. It looks very man-made-ish. But, you don't know. A lot of UFOs look clunky and man-made. Even the older ones, even though the ones in the 50s. Back before we think we had UFOs. Of course, if time travel is a factor, then you just never know, guys. That's why I hate the idea of time travel. Because it makes understanding this so difficult. But there you go. That one was kind of rotating there. You saw it. I hope you saw it kind of rotating there, which is interesting. But again, a balloon could rotate. But I don't know. I'm not really getting a balloon vibe from this. What do you think this interesting object is? The San Diego Sphere. And I'll link to the video below. Let me know what you think about that and everything else covered today in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I'd sure would appreciate it. Smash the like button, the subscribe button, the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Discord, links below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in an even bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below, or by becoming a channel member, because channel members are rock stars and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.